We can't wait to share easy, money-saving tips for your emergency food pantry. Hi, I'm Hope.
And I'm Larry.
From Under the Median. Hey, welcome to part 2 of our 3-part series on stocking and getting ready your emergency food pantry. Last week, we covered tips and strategies to help you figure out what in the world should even go in your emergency food pantry in the first place. And this week, we're going to delve right into helping you save some money while you are stocking that emergency pantry. Hey, we're all about practical frugality, and we'd love it if you would join us every single week on Under the Median. Best way to do that, make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell notification button. All right, let's first get into get prepared to get prepared. We have some get prepared statements that will help you to save money while you are stocking those emergency food supplies. All right, the first thing they need to do is get prepared to
shop around. It's good to have one or two or more different sources to look at when you're getting ready to purchase food.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you shop at one and only one place, you're spending more money than you need to spend. All of our married life, 34 years now, we have figured out that we cannot possibly shop at one place all the time. Does that mean we go to 5 stores every single week? Gosh, no. There are, however, sources of food that we stock up, say, once every 5 or 6 months. About every 4 or 5 months or so, we head to an Amish community that's about an hour from here, and we stock up on really large volumes of stuff, 25, 50-pound bags of grains and cereals and things like that. And so they're going to be, let's say, a lot of streams of food supplies that you're going to follow, but you're not going to follow all of them all at the same time. You're not going to shop at all of these sources every single week, but there's some things you're going to keep in your back pocket and go, yep, every 3-4 months, I'm going to do that. Now, one of the reasons that we say that's so important is because of something we've also learned in 34 years, which is streams dry up. You want to explain that, Larry?
Oh, they certainly do. Let me just say, in terms of different places will provide different types of food. Now, we get fresh food at our local farmers market. We get the grains and the long-lasting food, the large supplies at the Amish store, and pretty much everything else we buy at our local Aldi's store. So different places will give you different offerings. But sometimes a stream will dry up. Now, this happened in the case of our Amish store years ago. The people that were running the store decided to move, and they closed the store down for a time, and we had to look for other places to get our food. Fortunately, Hope knew somebody that worked at it was called the Mediterranean Mart, and the store manager was able to find Hope and I quite a few of the different foods that we were purchasing from the Amish store. But you will have to sometimes, when the stream dries up, you have to look for another source.
Yeah, so have lots of places that you purchase your food from. Make sure, even having a list is handy. And so when one opportunity dries up, then you're going to need to look around for other places to buy food. But don't be afraid to shop around. Our second be prepared is be prepared to buy. Look, the food supply chain is really broken right now.
It's very unstable.
And in our opinion, I don't think we've seen not only have we not seen the last of it, I don't think we've seen all the dominoes fall yet. I really don't think that. So I think sooner than later, you're going to need to look around, make sure. Now, when we talk about emergency food stores, we're talking about 2 or 3 months worth of food on our shelf. We are not hardcore preppers by any means. We don't have food on our shelf that's going to last 10, 15, 20 years. That's not our purpose, is to make sure we can feed our family through kind of a difficult time of 2 to 3 months. That's always been our goal. So when we talk about emergency food stores, that's what we are talking about here on this channel.
But the whole point of what Hope was talking about, being prepared to buy, sometimes you're going to find a screaming good deal on maybe a large commodity of one item. And, you might not want to pass that up. Sometimes you'll get it might be 75% off of an item that they're closing out.
Right.
And if you can, you've got the money available and you kind of want to plan for that a little bit. Have a little extra money available in case you find what we call a screaming good deal.
Now, usually that's because I scream at him, look at this! Yeah, that's why we call it screaming good deal. But I've talked about this before too. We take our food budget, our monthly food budget, and divide it in fifths. 20% of our monthly food budget is always set aside in a special stocking up fund so that we theoretically always have some of that money available should we find one of those amazing deals we feel like we just can't pass up. And I got to be honest, because of the food supply chain issues, if you find it, don't assume that when you go back, it's still going to be available. I think you have to have that money ready in hand and you need to be prepared to buy.
It happened to us just this week. We went to our Aldi store and there's a couple items that we buy as a point of being a regular purchase. We buy a large jar of peanut butter and also saltines. And they were out of both products.
I mean, flat out.
Now
like
they weren't
nothing to be seen anywhere.
Yeah, and they weren't out of a lot of things. Really, their shelves were pretty well stocked up, but they were out of those two items. There was one other item we needed was carrots. They were out of the whole carrots. They had the little chopped up baby carrots that are more expensive, but that isn't what we wanted.
So that's because they take the big carrots, they shave them down into tiny slices. They say mini carrots, and they charge you twice what they do for the whole carrot. Guys, I don't know if you knew that or not, but there's no such thing as baby carrots. No. There's a big shaved down carrots. Just letting you know.
Do you remember that cartoon where they took a whole log and then they show it being sawed all the way down to a little toothpick? That's what that reminds me of. But I found those two items at another Aldi store on my way home from work this week. So I went ahead and stocked up on them while they had them.
And now we have enough at least for 3 months.
We do.
We stocked up a lot, guys.
Big
I think
time.
we have enough for 6 months. I'm just letting you know.
I think I overwhelmed Hope a little bit.
Peanut butter in the house.
We will not be running out of peanut butter.
The kids will not be sad when the peanut butter is gone. It's going to be around for a while. So be prepared to buy. Be prepared to shop around. Be prepared to be what?
Flexible. Yeah. Yeah, you might want to have to maybe change your routine, maybe change some of the things that you normally serve at dinner in order to take advantage of something that you purchased in bulk.
Now, hang on to your hats, guys, because I'm going to hit a nerve. I lightly.
Can I go get my hat?
No, you're good. You don't need your hard hat. If you have an affinity for specific name brand products, you may not be able to find those name brand products all the time, and you may have to buy generic. And I know, and we've talked about this before, and some of y'all have said, hey, I really hate generic XYZ. I'm totally down on that. Honestly, I am. But I'm also going to tell you that generics have come a long way in the last 20 years or so. And I think, you know what? If you're hesitant to give them a try, there's no better time to give them a try than now. Try them before, the name brand product that you really want is nowhere to be found. And then you need to be flexible, and you need to go ahead and not be afraid to buy something that's not quite your regular brand.
And I saw the opposite thing happening at the second Aldi store that I went to. They had more Jif brand peanut butter than they did their own store brand. And I'm thinking, well, the Jif is more expensive. People are buying out the cheaper. They're buying out the cheaper brands. So once again, you might have to be flexible. You might have to buy the name brand and maybe buy less of it.
All right. Be prepared to be
creative.
Creativity. This is something that we are going to hit hard in the next video. It's the third video in this series. I'm going to show you exactly what you can do to know ahead of time, not to be, like stocking on the fly and thinking, well, I think I have enough in my food pantry. I'm going to show you exactly how to menu plan from your pantry and come up with creative meal solutions for your family that are healthy, that your family will really eat, and know ahead of time that you have the ingredients in your pantry to make those meals. But it has a lot to do with being creative. I'll show you exactly. I got some cool forms for you guys, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. And that's in the next video. But Look, you're going to have to think outside your regular box of what you generally make, because at some point, if it ain't on the shelf and you can't get it in the store, you're going to have to use what you do have on the shelf. You got to be a little creative and a whole lot flexible.
Yeah. The next thing you need to be prepared for is be prepared to create meals out of single ingredient items. We talked about this a little bit on our last video.
Single ingredient foods, guys. That means you look on the label and the only thing you see on the back of the label is that item, maybe a little bit of a preservative of some kind and salt, maybe or maybe not. That's what you're looking for. We kind of, for years, we've had a rule in the house that says what we really want are foods on our shelves with 5 or fewer ingredients, all in English.
Yeah, I was going to say, you have to be able to pronounce them.
So look for items that aren't terribly processed. And I'll tell you exactly why we are recommending this right now. Because those are the food products that you're going to be able to get huge levels of versatility out of. We talked in last week's video. I'll make sure that video is linked, guys. The first video in the series, I'll make sure it's linked up above and in the description of this video in case you missed it. We talked a lot about the necessity of versatility in what you have on your pantry shelves. Prepared foods are designed to be made into one meal. And they've got everything included, which makes them really handy, but also makes them expensive and makes them incredibly non-versatile. If you have single ingredient foods on your shelf, you're going to be able to combine them in so many more ways than if you have a lot of prepared food on your shelf.
Another advantage to single ingredient items is that they're better for you. They nourish your body better and they'll last longer. You won't have to eat as much quantity of them as well.
That keep you fuller longer because you're looking at fiber, guys. Usually when you're looking at single ingredient foods, you're looking at a whole lot more fiber than prepared foods. So that's our be prepared list. And now we're going to play a thing. Can I do my drum roll? We're going to play a game that I think is really fun. It is called Buy This, Not That. We're going to show you some examples of things that we think you ought to have on your pantry shelf, and you should have these things on instead of some other things. So it's buy this, not that. You ready? Okay. The first round one.
I got to say, though, I'm glad this is just limited to food because there's so many things I like to buy. Might fall into the category of don't buy that. But.
Okay, round one of buy this, not that. You ready? Round one is beans.
Yep.
You're gonna buy what?
You're going to buy dry beans over canned beans. Now, why are dry beans so much better, Hope?
We're going to show you. All right, dry beans. If you are stocking your emergency food pantry, beans are one of the best buys on the planet. A lot of fiber. They've got protein. They're a whole food, and they're going to keep you full for a whole long time. But if you must choose between canned beans and dried beans, dry win every single time. We're going to show you the difference between 1 pound of dry beans and 1 pound of canned beans. You ready? I actually have it right in front of me. I put these. This is 1 pound of dried pinto beans. I just cooked them in the pressure cooker.
So how much is that? About
is
1.5 quarts?
It is
almost?
It is 6 cups.
Wow.
2 cups-ish of dried beans is going to be equal to 1 pound of dried beans. You cook that up, you get 6 cups of cooked beans. You guys ready? Larry's going to hold up. He's going to show you the don't buy this. All
right. This is the canned beans, and that isn't even 16 ounces. What do we have there?
No, it's a little over. Yeah, it's not 16 ounces. It's about 1 2/3-ish cups.
Yeah.
All right. So I took it out of the can. This is just a regular can, the 15.5 ounce can of beans, guys. I took it out, I rinsed it, I put it into the measuring cup, and we're gonna show you once again. Buy this, not that. Do I have some cans of beans on the shelf of the pantry? Yeah, I do. But if you're looking for something that's gonna give you a lot of bang for your buck, you can get beans for $1 a pound. Dried beans, $1 a pound or less. It's a great buy. Buy this, not that.
But now you do buy some canned beans just in case we have a time where you've been working all day or you've been gone, you want to make a quick meal. She'll throw some rice into the rice cooker and maybe open up a can of beans, warm it up in the microwave, throw them together, and we have rice and beans. And I know, people kind of make fun of rice and beans as maybe a meal that was used during the Depression, but I really like rice and beans. I like the combination. They're very filling.
And this is the only time in life where we're going to tell you this is a good thing to open up a can of beans, all right? So it's a good thing. So yeah. Do have some canned beans, but if you got to choose, remember, buy this, not that. Round 2, ding ding, of buy this, not that. We're going to compare plain rice to the flavored rice side dish packets. Mm-hmm. Guess which one, guys, wins? Somebody's going to tell me in the comments section. You're all going to crowd the comment section with the right answer. The right answer is you're going to buy...
Well, you're going to buy the plain rice for so many reasons. Now, we went to Aldi's, and I took my camera along with me this week. So we took some pictures of the packaged rice against the plain rice, and you can see the difference in price. It's quite a bit.
You're going to get 2 pounds of plain rice. In fact, you can get 2 pounds of rice right now, of white rice at Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree, by the way, I'm just going to throw this in here. This is like an extra. Has anybody else heard that Dollar Tree is going to raise their prices? Yeah, tell me in the comments section. This is huge. For those of us who are frugal, their prices are going to go above $1. In fact, in some stores at some parts of the nation, they've been sort of playing around with some $3 and $5 items. So tell me, is that going to keep you from shopping at Dollar Tree? Somebody last week had heard about this and said, I'm just not even going to shop there because it made her so mad that they're Dollar Tree and they're not going to be $1 anymore. But right now, you can get a 32 ounce, that's 2 pounds of white rice, and you can get it for $1 at Dollar Tree. And look at the price of the rice side dish. And that's not even a pound of rice that's in there. That's rice plus the seasoning packet. And it's just a whole lot more expensive, and it's not nearly as versatile. So buy this, not that.
And this kind of falls into the category where you live. You may not even have a Dollar Tree, and you may not have an Aldi's, but you've got maybe some other discount stores that you can shop at. Do some price checking, price around, take a little pad of paper with you, write down what the prices are at different stores so you can get the best deal on what you're looking for.
So buy what you can, where you can.
Right.
But in general, you're going to get a much better bang for your buck and far more versatility with plain rice as opposed to those very expensive rice side dish packets. All right, you ready for round 3? Mm-hmm. Of buy this, not that. What are we comparing, Larry?
We're comparing cornmeal to corn muffin mix.
Okay, once again, you're gonna, if you guessed that the cornmeal is gonna win over the corn muffin mix, you are absolutely correct. Cornmeal is incredibly versatile, far more versatile than people give cornmeal credit for being. If you want to know exactly how versatile, make sure that you are watching part 3 of this series, which will air on Monday, because I'm going to take you into the back end of my planning, and I'm going to show you a form whereby I take all of these main ingredients that we've been talking about, and I show you exactly how I transform just one main ingredient into 5 different dishes that I will make with that ingredient. And cornmeal is one of those ingredients. So I show you some of the cool ways that you can use cornmeal.
So don't miss Hope going into the depths of cornmeal.
No, it's not detail, the minutia. It's a good depth. It's not a bad depth.
The bright side of cornmeal.
Yes, thank you. I like that. The positive bright side of cornmeal. Make sure you don't miss that. But if you're not a cornmeal fan, make sure you watch part 3 too, because I'm going to talk about some of these other things. We're going to talk about some dried beans, and we're going to talk about some other main ingredients that you can use to create meals from your pantry. And I have a 5-step formula. I'm going to show you how to do it.
And I'll have to watch that part because I just don't know beans.
He doesn't. Trust me, he doesn't. He does not cook. All right. Are you ready for round 4? Ding ding of buy this, not that.
You want to buy the old-fashioned oats as opposed to the instant flavored oatmeal.
So much less expensive. Now, those of you who have watched for a while know that we buy oats in 50-pound bags, so we don't mess around, man. We buy lots of oats, we eat lots of oats. But even if you're buying it in the smaller containers from Aldi, you're still spending significantly less money per ounce to buy the old-fashioned oats than you are the instant oats. Why do we tell you not to buy the little instant oat breakfast packets? A couple of reasons. One is that old-fashioned oats are thicker, they're heartier, they don't turn into a gummy mess when you cook with them, and they are more versatile than the instant oats. If you like the instant oats, it is so unbelievably easy to turn the old-fashioned oats into the instant oatmeal version. I'm going to show you in 4 easy steps. Literally, you can do this in less than 10 minutes. You can take 6 cups of old-fashioned oats and turn it into an instant oatmeal mix that you can just scoop 3/4 of a cup out in the morning, heat your water up in the microwave, go ahead and use it exactly like you would the instant oatmeal packets. But it's going to cost you a fraction of what it is to buy the little packets that you tear open and put into your bowl. Does exactly the same thing.
You know, I get up in the morning and I make breakfast for the family, and we have oats just about every day. Almost every day we'll have oats. And I don't mind. They only take, just the regular old-fashioned oats only take 20 minutes to cook. So you bring the water to boil, you put the oats in, stir it up, put it on a low flame, and while it's cooking for 20 minutes, I have other things to do. You know, I might get my shower and just, you know, do some other things in the morning. And by the time it's done, I'm ready to stir it up, put it in a bowl, and eat it.
All right, but if you don't want to use Larry's method, if you don't want to put it on the low flame and you just want your instant oatmeal, I'm going to show you how to do it. Hang out with me, guys, for the next couple of minutes while I show you the steps it takes to make instant oatmeal out of old-fashioned oats. Making old-fashioned oats into cinnamon brown sugar instant oats, you can do it in 10 minutes or less. We're going to start with 8 cups of old-fashioned thick cut rolled oats. Now, you're going to process this in your food processor 4 cups at a time, and you're looking for smaller pieces, but not teeny tiny pieces, all right? There's the texture you're looking for. You can see that there are some smaller pieces in there, but there's still some pieces that are pretty close to being whole. Go ahead and dump that into your bowl, and then do it with the second half of the oats. Okay. Perfect. All right. Get that to the side. Now you have your 8 cups of oats. They're chopped up really nicely, and you are going to add your brown sugar and your cinnamon. I have a 1/2 cup of brown sugar and a couple of tablespoons of cinnamon. Put that in there. Gotta chop it up a little bit. So you've got your flavorings in. By the way, the cinnamon, Fresh Finds, that's the Big Lots brand. As of right now, it's still $1 for this cinnamon at Big Lots. If you want to, go ahead and add up to a tablespoon of salt. I don't add salt to my food, but if you do add salt, you can add up to a tablespoon. And then you're going to add some what I call extras. You can add up to a 1/4 cup of chia seeds, or you might also alternately use flax seeds. Both of these give you mucilaginous fiber, which is really important for your digestive system. You can add chia seeds in whole. Your body cannot digest flax seeds, so if you use flax seeds, you want to chop them up. We have a coffee mill, which is dedicated in our house just to cutting up things like flax seeds and also fresh herbs and spices when we cut those up to add them to our cooking. So chop these up or add these whole, add 1/4 of a cup. The other add-ins you might want to consider are things like raisins. Add to up to 2 cups of dried fruit. I personally like it with just about a cup of dried fruit. You have some dates here and some raisins. Make sure when you pick your dried fruit that you pick fruit that doesn't have additional sugar added to it. And then also unsweetened coconut is also a really nice add-in. You can add extra spices if you want to the mix. You can add, for instance, some pumpkin pie spice or a little bit of nutmeg would be really nice in here, but I get it all mixed up and you can see this looks exactly like the instant oatmeal packets that you buy at the store for a lot more than you just bought those whole oats. And 3/4 of a cup of this is what you want to measure out. I do about a cup and a half of water. I start with a cup and add 3/4 cup of the mix and see if it's a little thick. You know, I add a little bit more water. If it's a little bit too thin, go ahead and add a little bit more of the mix. Put it in a container, like a Tupperware container that is going to keep it fresh. Make sure the lid fits tightly. And on top of the lid, especially if you have kids who are going to make their own breakfast in the morning, go ahead, print the directions out and just tape it to the top so that they instantly know exactly how to make their own instant oatmeal breakfast in the morning. And that's how easy it is. Less than 10 minutes to turn old-fashioned oats into instant oatmeal. Hey, thanks for playing Buy This, Not That with us and listening to us talk about how to be prepared to be prepared. Couple of reminders for you. I actually have a pantry checklist. It's a little pantry stock up workbook. It's absolutely free. I'd love to send it to you. There's a link to request it in the description of this video. And remember, this is part 2 of a 3-part series on how to get your emergency food pantry ready. In case you missed part 1, I'm going to make sure that you get a chance to watch it. It's right over there, and that's the next video that you should watch. Be sure you're subscribed and hit that bell notification because you want to make sure you don't miss part 3, because I'm going to delve deeply into how you can provide your family with nutritious, delicious meals straight from your pantry. I'm going to show you my 5-step pantry food prep system.